When asked the question, do you know any stories of policemen who have been urgently called out because of strange occurrences in a haunted house? This was the answer from Quora user Alan McCormick, a former NCO of the Royal Air Force. Some years ago, Alan had a friend, a member of the Scottish Police Force, who shared with him that one night he and a colleague had been called out to a disturbance at a house in a small village. The two policemen arrive on the scene with their blue lights flashing to discover half of the village had gathered outside the house. The officers ask the frightened residents what is happening, and they're told that the house has been empty for years, locked and boarded up, and yet everyone can hear screaming and loud banging coming from inside. Even the two police officers can hear the sounds of terror regardless of the house being securely locked. They break into the house, and once inside they hear the screaming is coming from upstairs. The two would-be heroes run up the steps immediately and check every room as they go, noting that every window is securely boarded up. No one can get out. The police officers check the entire house, nothing. Annoyed, they exit the house only to hear the screaming and banging again. They recheck the house and still no sign of anyone or anything happening inside. In the end, they were left with little choice but to lock the house up again and leave the mystery unsolved. Alan made a point of saying his mate was a tough Glaswegian cop who took no crap from anyone, not even ghosts. He told the locals to go home and that if the spooks want to party, then let them party. He then told his colleague, who was shaken up by the encounter, to man up. In his view, if they could face a drugged-up psychopath with a knife, then a screaming spook was nothing to worry about. He entered into his report that the incident was unexplained. But what about you? Can you relate to the story in any way? Have you heard screams that when investigated came from nowhere? Have you been somewhere that you knew was empty and yet your senses were otherwise convinced? Please share your tale with me at tellyourtale@gmail.com so that I can share your story in a future video. And until next time, be careful which house you run into.